Hey, what's up guys, John here. On April 8th, 2024, a solar eclipse is coming, and this will be the last one for the next 20 years.
On April 8th, a total eclipse of the sun will plunge millions of viewers from daylight into darkness,
making this upcoming one historically significant. The best way to prepare: fill up on gas, food.
However, this solar eclipse, they're doing some unique preparation, one of which they're closing hundreds of schools across the entire country.
More schools across North Texas are planning to, go dark for the eclipse.
They have the National Guard ready. They are telling people to stock up on at least a full tank of gas and 2 weeks worth of food, letting people know cell phones might be down, Wi-Fi might be down, people might be completely off the grid for a little bit. Now, when you start to look at some things like this, America's power grid is at risk of buckling this winter. This is from a regulator. And they've been talking a lot about the power grid, saying that there's issues with this power grid and it needs to be updated. It hasn't been updated in decades.
Extreme weather and climate change is making America's aging energy grid more vulnerable.
Well, when you look at the chain of events that we're likely walking into, you have to ask yourself the big question. What's going to happen next? When you look at just the last year, every week, every month, it's been some breaking story, some really big event, and then the next day it becomes, just distant memory. Are we walking into the big one? I don't know. But I'm going to show you what I do know. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button. YouTube will share this content to educate the people about what's really going on in America's economy. And today's video is sponsored by Genesis Gold Group. If you're interested in investing in precious metals or gold and silver, or converting a retirement account, maybe a 401k or IRA, into a retirement account backed by precious metals, you can call 1-800-200-GOLD or click the link in the description just below this video. Take a look at this. And look at this. Not a snow day, it's a solar day. Vermont schools give students the day off for the solar eclipse. Then, look at this list here. Plans for the eclipse: some Pittsburgh area school districts eyeing schedule changes and cancellations. So according to the experts, solar eclipse may cause greater loss of solar power generation. This will be the second solar eclipse in the United States in less than 7 years. Now, here are the school closures. Look at this list, just in Indiana. All of these schools, all of these kids taken out of schools. I don't remember this ever happening in 2017. Nothing like this happening in 2017. But, we're in 2024, and we live in a different world than we did in 2017. So March 18th, this is arkansas.gov on their website. I'll pull it down here so you can see. Arkansas.gov, March 13th. With less than a month remaining before the Great American Solar Eclipse, the Arkansas Division of Emergency Management took a significant step by conducting a live training exercise. This exercise was designed to test ADEM's response to issues that may arise as visitors flock to Arkansas to witness the event. ADEM responders and other state agencies look at possible scenarios such as severe weather, traffic, medical emergencies, and communication challenges. Taking part in the exercise were community emergency managers and representatives of the National Weather Service, Arkansas National Guard Corps of Engineers, Arkansas Hospital Association, Arkansas Weather Information Network, Arkansas Department of Health, Transportation, Energy, Environment, and Human Services. That sounds very suspicious. Sounds very strange. The exercise took place at ADM's Emergency Operations Center, which will be in operation from Saturday, April 6th until April 10th. The purpose of the exercise was to carefully test the procedures and systems used for sharing information throughout all phases of the eclipse, ensuring that all decision makers have access to the most relevant and latest updates about the event's nature and impact. This will enable them to make informed decisions based on accurate and up-to-date information. So you're seeing what's going on, but then look, they're talking about U.S. National Guard could be called in a solar eclipse. This is Texas. Then solar eclipse 2024, National Guard could be brought in, also Texas. So you see this situation, and Texas officials warn people to stock up on food ahead of the solar eclipse. Officials in one state along the path of totality in April 8th, total solar eclipse, are advising residents to stock up on food and gas ahead of the event. And this is coming from an interview with Mike Jones, Hays County, Texas Direct Official of Emergency Services, said the area is expecting thousands of visitors to see the eclipse. To prepare for crowds, Jones advised residents to stock up on groceries, fill up on gas, and if they're out for the day on the eclipse, he recommends residents pack your patience. Now, one thing that is very interesting to me is when you look at what's going on with cities and governments, they say that they are extremely underfunded and that their funding is running out of money, and that by the end of this year, they're basically not going to have, look at this, a government auditor warned lawmakers Tuesday the federal government is likely will run out of money to cover disasters at the peak of the hurricane season, imperiling its ability to pay for emergency shelters, home repairs, and long-term rebuilding. The warning that a congressional hearing came the day after President Joe Biden proposed a moderate increase to disaster spending next year. Even if the request is approved, however, it is likely to be too little too late to prevent a disaster fund from going insolvent. So you start to see this situation, and then you see all of this conversation around cyber attacks, around the grid, around problems with power. I mean, just in the last 2 days, you look at all this, 5 hours ago, 4 big questions for DC following massive healthcare attack. I mean, it's literally page after page after page. Just over the last week, look at this. Just over the last week, you see nonstop issues, 10 pages talking about cyber attacks that have unfolded, in the last week. So you see, for example, the big mortgage cyber attack that just unfolded. 4.3 million American borrowers impacted. You saw everything that's happened recently with Facebook, with a lot of social media platforms, with Amazon, all of these situations that have unfolded. But now what they say is that how the U.S. power grid is target for the far-right groups, right? To me, and then you have Tucker Carlson doing this interview with Dennis Quaid, about 2 months ago, 1.1 million views. And it's very strange. You have this actor, Dennis Quaid, that goes on there and gives this detailed breakdown of what could possibly happen, and has this conversation with Tucker Carlson. There's a paid actor there that is having a conversation with Tucker Carlson about a power grid going down. Like, how strange is that? Like, to me, that's very weird, right? Then, like worried about Texas power grid? Here's what to expect from the incoming Arctic blast, January 12th, 2024. So it's almost mid-January, and there's tomatoes growing in my backyard in Austin. That might seem like a strange way to start an article on the Texas power grid, but as the state faces its first big freeze this winter, it's worth noting how historically warm it's been so far. It was our 6th warmest December on record. A climate services program or manager of National Weather Services in Fort Worth, it's been very mild. That will come to a screeching halt Saturday night when the cold front arrives and temperature drops below freezing in much of the state. In some places, temperatures are expected to stay for days. It's going to be a shock to the system. The big story for many is whether the Texas power grid is ready to handle such a freeze. It's one conversation, one story, one big threat, one big, possibility after the next. They've talked about a cyber pandemic, and they've talked about, cyber problems coming. They've said this for several years, that we could be walking into this very, very big scenario. So the fact that the National Guard is, now in play on this, and you start to look at all these chain of events that are unfolding, is it all going to come to a head on April 8th, 2024? I'm not sure. I have no idea. But the chain of events that are unfolding and all of these things that have happened over just the last couple of years, it leads me to believe if it's not going to be, in April, it might be, in the next year, it might be in the next 2 years. I don't think it's not going to happen. I think eventually something big is going to happen. And I think, people are getting ready for it. People are, so jaded by one big event after the next that I think if the big event does come, people will just, it won't be an absolute shock. People are kind of expecting this entire situation. What do you think about this entire scenario? Do you think we're walking into a situation, in a scenario, where we are going to see April 8th being the big day? As North America gears up for a total solar eclipse next month, multiple schools in the United States will remain closed due to safety concerns. As North America gears up for a total solar eclipse next month, you see this situation. Look at this. This is Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, New York, Pennsylvania, Vermont, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, New Hampshire, Maine. I don't know. It'll be interesting to watch, and everybody is talking about this entire situation. Drop below. Let me know, what do you think is going to happen on April 8th? Are you getting prepared for this, or do you think it's just going to be another situation that's going to come and then it's going to go, and April 9th will just be another day? Today's video also is sponsored by Genesis Gold Group. In the event that you're interested in investing in precious metals or gold, silver, or at least learning about them, give them a call, 1-800-200-GOLD, or you can click the link in the description just below this video. Or if you have a 401k or IRA interested in investing and converting it into a retirement account backed by precious metals, you can do so by consulting with Genesis Gold Group by clicking the link in the description. I'll catch you in the next video.